Hi, take your hand and put it in a fist. Do not open it, but tell it to open with your mind. Send thoughts this way that say open. Think about it. Your mind wants to open it, but don't open it. Ready, go. Open, open, open. Open hand. I want to open my hand. Now, you should be able to separate consciousness from thoughts. And which one had more power in that situation? aka has more power in every situation. So why would you not harness that body instead of this device that sends you meaningless information but doesn't manifest in the physical like the other one? Get in touch, honey.
Never bought real anything when I was playing. Never. What was the point? I went to Claire's.
So all you do?
Yes. For what? What am I doing it for? The women don't deal with you anyway because of who you are.
Right.
And then the other women who really doing their homework don't Google how much you're making already.
Right.
Why am I buying a $50,000 watch, $80,000 watch? What time is it real quick? Please?
It's 20 minutes to 4.
How much that cost me?
It didn't cost you nothing.
Because time is free. So
Yeah.
what I'm paying for?
Right.
For what? I'm Ocho. What's the point?
Right.
There's nothing I can buy that's bigger than my name alone. So it made no sense. But everybody's caught up in image and looking a certain way and being rich. It's me. It's pointless.
Yo, hype me up, hype me up. Mia, hype me up. Like, tell me something.
Hi?
Like, hype me up. Like, hype me up, you know? Like, just hype me up.
Hype.
Like, hype me up. Like, hype me up.
I need you to listen to me because there are people out there that do not want you to know this information. This is lesson number 3. My name is Maria Emilia. I navigate the human experience with you, and we're going to talk about emotions. Energy in motion. The most important lesson I will ever teach you. But please go and listen to the other lessons because if not, you will not understand. If you were to forget all common language tomorrow, you cannot speak a lick of anything, would you still be able to communicate with yourself? The answer to this question is yes, you would use your emotions. See, we were never meant to think logically. We do not live in a logical universe. Nothing about this universe is logical. But society has been built with logical thinking. It has been frowned upon to act on emotions. As a matter of fact, following your emotions is the worst thing that you could ever do, right? But your emotions are literally your inner compass. If you couldn't speak languages, you'd be able to communicate and exist using your emotions. We are all empaths. Some of us just don't know how to feel our own emotions, so we can't feel other people's. But the moment you learn how to feel emotions, everything changes because now you can communicate with source. You can communicate with consciousness the way that you were supposed to communicate with it. But it's an interesting paradox because even though we claim that we're in a logical universe, all of our decisions are emotionally based. If you read any fucking sales book, the first thing they're going to teach you is solve a problem. What are the pain points of that person? AKA, what emotions is that person feeling that you can substitute for better emotions? Don't believe me? Go to a supermarket or a store and just observe people. Look at how they pick objects and comment down below what you find. But our emotions are simply energy going through the body that needs to be released. In the next video, I'm going to teach you how to actually feel emotions so that you're able to communicate with source and communicate with yourself and just actually enjoy the human experience. Because this is what you came here to do, to experience.
I don't wear deodorant. I haven't worn deodorant in probably like 8 years. And people say, so what do you do about the smell? I'm like, there's no smell. Because the truth, like I was saying earlier, when you eat a lot of greens, greens are deodorizing to the body.
What?
Yes, they're deodorizing to the body. So a lot of times when I smell people with an odor, it's because I know that either they're A, toxic, but B, they're not eating a lot of green leafy vegetables.
Why does nobody talk about how lonely it is having self-respect?
A lot of people know what self-respect is. They just find it incredibly boring, which is why they're just saving it for the second half of their life. It's some kind of good choices make bad stories situation. So they just create the villains that are in their life, or they create or seek out the bad influences that allow them to go along with their chaotic adventures. So they really get the best of both worlds. They get to be the hero in their own story, and they also get the redemption at the end of the story.
A spiritual awakening is something that you'll experience when you come to the realization that the life that you've previously known is not the life you will continue to live. A spiritual awakening cannot be unlearned or undone, and once you go through one, you will never look at life the same. A spiritual awakening can be described as being aware of the fact that we are more than just human, we are fragments of a universal, energetic consciousness that is having a human experience. A spiritual awakening is when you realize that dreaming is closer to true reality than being awake. You realize that every person is just another piece of consciousness experiencing life from a different point of view. We are the universe experiencing itself from different perspectives. We have come to a human body to understand what it means to have a physical form and human emotions. When we are in our true state, we are just energy. We have no emotion. We just exist in absolute contentment at the highest energetic vibration and oneness. When you have a spiritual awakening, you realize that your soul is an individual piece of the collective consciousness. You understand that we are all branches of the same tree, and therefore you accept everyone for who they are, flaws and all. You have a lot more patience with people because you're able to empathize with their struggles, knowing that the way a person acts is usually a reflection of how they feel internally. You understand that everyone is dealing with their own personal battle of coping with childhood and generational trauma, and therefore you can read people extremely well and see the reasons behind their actions. When you have a spiritual awakening, you're able to see the much bigger picture, and therefore it's hard for you to argue with others about anything or get aggravated, because you know that any problem you experience is completely temporary and surface level. You are able to love everything around you for what it is, because even a bad experience is an experience, and that's what we came here to do. You realize that the reality you experience is an identical reflection to your internal mindset. If you think positive, you will feel positive. If you feed positivity, you will notice positivity, but the same goes for negativity. If you assume negative things will happen to you, all you will notice is negative things happening to you, because that is what you expect, and that is what you will look out for. Change your mindset, and you will change your life. When you have a spiritual awakening, you no longer view life through the lens of your ego. You recognize emotions and impulsive thoughts as just that. You have no desire to manipulate others for your own benefit because you realize that that is what is wrong with the world. Most people operate based on the emotions that they feel at any given time. Once you understand that your emotions are just a psychological response to a stimuli that triggers your ego, you are able to take a step back and view the world for what it really is. You have a deep sense of peace and living in the moment because you know that anything that happens to you is what is meant for you. You know that you are always right where you're supposed to be at any given moment, and because of that, you have no regrets about the past. Every single moment and occurrence has formed you into the person that you are now, and every mistake made is a lesson learned. You understand that everything you go through as a human is put in place for a purpose, and therefore you take everything with a grain of salt and try to make the most of every situation. You are very self-reflective of your mistakes because you know that if you aren't learning from them, you will certainly repeat them until you do. That was written by one of my favorite people, me. Let me know what you guys think.
This is the reason why I kind of get nervous when I visit different cultures' restaurants, because I'm not really sure how to eat certain things, maybe. It's just kind of like an anxiety. I don't want people to feel like I'm being disrespectful. I just don't know, but it's not good to be ignorant either. So, like, pick up a book. I don't know.
People are emotionally attached to food. They eat food because they're having problems. They eat sugar because they have the inability to give love or receive love, because sugar is associated with love.
Is that right?
Yes.
So how did you know that, Dr. Africa?
Salt is associated with anger. And black people eat the most salted potato chips of any racial group in America because they're angry.
Okay.
And
what about this hot sauce thing I see? We do have a hot sauce problem. Yeah.
We're going into hot sauce, and you're also going in for vinegar, because vinegar comes with the hot sauce, and vinegar is a chemical that's made from eating meat. People get addicted to the chemicals they take and the chemicals they make inside of their body.
Okay.
That's two addictions.
Okay.
The chemicals you take and the chemicals you make.
Okay.
So when you're eating a lot of meat, you're making a lot of vinegar, as well as ammonia.
Okay.
You see, that's the chemical addiction. So they're going to thrive for that.
Okay.
The hot sauce in their mind is trying to drive them, stimulate them to have more money or more lottery tickets or something. It's a cycle. It's the emotional attachment to the food that we have.
I've seen people who wouldn't start a meal without locating the hot sauce.
Yeah, because they're trying to,
Where is the hot sauce?
Stimulate themselves to be rich or whatever their fantasy is.
I think they're trying to cover up the food.
No.
I can't imagine.
It's emotional. It's emotional.
Okay.
People eat for emotional reasons.
Okay, feelings.
Yeah, they want something to crunch on to get rid of frustration. They chew, you see.